got your core business, but if you're not fully maximizing the potential of that core business, that's where you need to start, is maximizing the potential of your core business.
Yep.
And then add services around that.
We did other things, but those were our core: printing, promotional, and apparel. And even I would say with the Florida one, printing was the core.
Yeah.
The promotional apparel were just there and we did it, but were we really targeting people for that? Not really. Hey everybody, welcome back to the FIP Printing Pros podcast. I'm your host, Josh Dynison. Along with me, I got my co-host, Chris Lockwood.
Hello.
And what we'll be talking today about is how to add different streams of revenue to your print shop. Now, obviously, we're going to be focusing on print shops and how you add revenue streams to a print shop specifically. But if you're not a print shop and you have a different type of industry business, this also kind of goes the same along the lines. Now, not the same things, but just the same concepts of like what we're thinking and how we're adding as we go.
Yeah, I think we'll talk overall concepts and then how that applies to print shop, and I'll try and throw in a couple of ideas for so people can wrap their noodles around it.
100%. So this to start with, obviously, first and foremost, you got to figure out what your core business is. Now, some of you might be just promo, some might be apparel and a promo, some might just be printing. And I'll use me as an example as I'm going through this of what I did basically to add all the different streams of revenue that I've added. With my first business in Nebraska, we started off with just promotional and apparel. And the reason why, honestly, why we ended up expanding wasn't because I was just choosing to add extra streams of revenue. It was because I got put in a foothold with COVID and basically going down to where we had no money left. And so I was forced to adapt and change, which I should have did in the beginning. But again, these are just things I learned over time. But since that mistake, I have now learned I got to continually, all right, how do I add this? How do I add things along the way? And for me, the first thing I did, obviously, was add print to what I did. And that's what got me here to my Florida business with First Impressions. So then now we were doing printing, promotional apparel, and we did other things, but those were our core: printing, promotional, and apparel. And even I would say with the Florida one, printing was the core.
Yeah.
The promotional apparel were just there and we did it, but were we really targeting people for that? Not really.
And that's when you took the business over, right?
Yeah. Correct. That was when I first initially took the business over. That was kind of the core thing they did. Everybody knew them for print, but that was pretty much it. There was customers that, had known just because they've worked with them over years that they do the other things. But I would say as a whole for the town, everybody just knew them as a print shop.
Yeah.
Like flyers and stuff when I say print shop.
So what was the first thing you added?
So really what I first did was I needed to make sure that we hit the current customers that were print customers already, to make sure they're aware that, hey, we also do promotional and apparel. So was it technically what I would say adding a stream of revenue? Not technically, because we were already doing that. But what we were doing was expanding that and really putting more of a focus on it. And like we talked about kind of before we decided to talk about the subject, is you need to perfect. I mean, perfect is a maybe not the best word, because we're human and we're imperfect people. So perfection is maybe not reachable, but as close to perfect as you can get, you want to get that honed in.
You need to get really, really, really good at that one or two things that you're doing. For example, if you're a what's the one Airbnb just expanded on some stuff. So that's a good example. Like, they were really good at being the host site for people renting out rooms in their house is how they started.
Yep.
And so they got really good at that. And then they expanded beyond that to renting out entire houses. And then they got into vacation markets and those kind of things. But they didn't just try and do it all at once.
Yep.
They slowly added to it. And the newest thing I've seen that they've added on it, and it's all around their core business. But now they've added on where you can book experiences and you can book services through Airbnb when you go to your location.
Interesting.
So yeah, I haven't looked into it at all. I just happened to see this like literally 2 days ago, and I was like, holy crap! And then when this topic came up, I was like, oh, I'm going to use that example. So
Yeah.
so you didn't. So those were already there as part of the business, but they weren't being focused on. So number one is you got your core business, but if you're not fully maximizing the potential of that core business, that's where you need to start, is maximizing the potential of your core business.
Yep.
And then add services around that. So
Yep.
next you the things that were here, you started using that. What was the next thing you added?
So again, this was another thing they were doing but not doing, was signage. But they were having to outsource it through like a partner. And so what I did was, part of when I bought the building, I also got extra money to get some equipment in-house to be able to do the signage in-house. That was my next step that I took. Again, this was I made sure printing and the promo and apparel were solid before I added this extra wrinkle, because this is a whole new ballgame, because we were outsourcing the signage. Now we're learning a whole new like production thing to do.
So bringing products that you are offering in-house.
But again, they weren't focused on promoting that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we were just doing it when somebody requested it, type of thing, not promoting it.
Yeah. So it's still on the core business, but now instead of outsourcing, and even if focused on, not focused on, but now you're bringing that capability in-house.
Yep.
Right. So the signs, and then what was the next thing?
Well, technically, I would say the mailing services was actually before that. That was a need when COVID hit. The mail house that Ocala had they went under, and so there was nobody else around here like taking up that stuff. So what we did at the business was learned on the fly how to do the mailing side of things and did that in-house.
Yeah.
So now we will print the product and now we'll mail it out for them.
Yeah. So I love that. So the first step really is you got your core business, maximize what it is. If there's things that you do within the business but get outsourced, if it makes sense, bring them in.
Yep.
And now you can actually expand beyond just what that core business is. One of the things that you talked about was offering some other services that you already do, but you don't necessarily, like, it's not a product on its own. For example, digital design, right? So one thing that you could do that we've talked about is offering just that small piece of the business as a whole nother stream of revenue, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So look at the capabilities that you have, and if it can be turned into a revenue stream separate from the process. So it's almost like look at your processes, and there's something in there that could be turned into a revenue stream.
Yep.
Then you do that. If the capability is there and the capacity is there, obviously you want to do that. So no, that's really, really good. So the next thing you talked about was thinking packages and not products. Explain to me what you mean by that.
So where we are, that's kind of goes into like the mailing services side of things, and is creating so we're already printing postcards. Well, now would you like us to do the mailing side of this directly to your customers if you've got a mailing list, or if you want to just send it directly to a certain route, within, the postal codes, to send those to. So just different, like packaging what we're already doing, but then adding now, because we doing mailing services, again, because we were outsourcing it, they weren't promoting it hardcore that we do it. So now that we can do it in house, now that's promoted a little more. So that we can push that, then you can package those together.
Yeah, it becomes a one-stop shop. Hey, we'll print it, and then now you don't even bother coming and picking it up, taking it to the post office. We can ship it for you too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's other just different packages that you start to kind of put together that we're starting to try to develop right now, and in the process of doing, where here's your beginner bundle for somebody who's going to start up. Here's your, for somebody that wants yard signs to go with H stakes, then here's some door hangers, like people that are more your door knockers, like different industries, what they specifically a lot of times orders, some industry specific like bundles, like different things like that.
Or like if it's like, say, because one of the hard decisions, how many different promotional products, like 500,000?
It's something like that.
Like if I come to you and said, hey, I'm doing a week-long blitz on doctor's offices and I need some things to give out. You're like, oh, I've got this package here that comes with 3 promotional items. You just tell me how many offices you're going to, and there's this package for you, right? Or I'm doing a convention. Oh, we have a convention. We have 3 different convention packages for 3 different price ranges. Pick the one that you want, right?
Yep.
So you bundle that stuff because that takes a lot of the decision making off of the customer. And a lot of times, a lot of companies will offer discounts if you bundle too.
Yep.
Bundle your home and auto insurance with name your whatever, the people that do our lawn care. Not mowing, but the fertilizing and weed killing and all that. They also offer pest solutions. So it's like I get like 20% off by using one company to do both. Yep. Whereas if I paid 2 different companies, I would, it'd be 100%, full price for both. So you bundle the 2, and it just makes it easier. So I like that.
No, 100%. That's a big part of it. And eventually we'll get to the point where I'd like to have the key industries where we have all that all put together. And I think that's important so that you get a landscaper, electrician, a plumber, whatever, you have that all basically what they would necessarily need and what most of those people in that industry order.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially if they don't, like I said, if they're new, they don't know what to get. You make that decision so easy for them.
Yep.
That they'll pay for that ease of not having to figure it out.
Oh, 100%.
Now, this is what I'm very familiar with, but I'm curious as to how it could apply to the print company, the print business, and then other businesses, which is a subscription model or retainer models.
Yep. So there's different things you can do. So I will say, as the business owner side of it, for a print shop, there are different subscriptions out there that you can get that can really help you. So they are, so the promo world, you have your different quantity breaks, from 150, 300, 500,000, on up to 5,000. And a lot of people will only order 250, 300 or whatever at a time. So that's low quantity. So you have to pay that specific price. All you have to do is go get one of these subscriptions to the places, and you pay like a $30 a month fee. And then you get the access to all their in quantity pricing for hundreds of suppliers, and most of them are the ones we use. So now you get the in quantity pricing, meaning the 5,000, even if they only order 250, I get the 5,000 price. So then now I can decide, do I want to take that extra margin that I'm making in between here, or do I then now discount it down to there, and then I can be more competitive, whatever it looks like. And that puts you in a different ball game. Now then on let's say the customer side, there's different things you can do. You can create a subscription model where if you do have that subscription where you're getting the in quantity pricing, you have them be a subscriber with you on a monthly basis, make them pay you $30 or whatever, whatever you decide to have them pay. And then now they get the in quantity pricing. There's so many different ways you can really add into it. It just depends on, you can make them up yourself. like subscribe to, hey, if you do this, we'll throw in free setups, whatever. I don't know. There's just, even if you're already free setups, I'm just,
Yeah, to give you an idea as to how you could really do this in any business, for our cabin in Tennessee, we pay $30 a month, I think, for a priority
VIP
customer, whatever it is. But what that means is when we have an emergency with our air conditioner unit, our plumbing, or our electricity, we get prioritized over any other call, and we don't have to pay the weekend or emergency rates up to like a certain point. Like there's a certain point where, if it's, whatever, but just the call out rate and all that kind of stuff, we just pay the normal rate, and we're prioritized over everybody else because we pay this monthly fee to be able to do that. And you can even do that in tiers, bronze, silver, gold, so regardless of what your business is, there's ways to create those subscriptions. I'm on a subscription where they send me filters from Amazon it's not a subscription. I guess it is a subscription, but it's like I save like 22% or something like that. And they're just sending me every month or every 3 months what I was going to be buying anyway. And I don't even have to think about it.
Yep.
And I get like 20+% off. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. So, within your business. And I mean, if you can do it in the print business or you can do it in the maintenance business, I mean, you can do it in anything you do. So, all right, next up we have a wholesale division. So this was an interesting one. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. If you can bring something in-house, this is kind of along those lines. So talk about how you brought in wholesaling within the print world.
So I've talked about on previous podcasts how I even came to this. I'll speak on it real quick, but basically what happened was during supply chain issues, I tried to outsource some of my bigger projects to wholesale companies in the print world because the paper supplies were getting scarce. So I was trying to outsource some of that so I could get what I could get in, and then the bigger stuff I could outsource. And realized that I was charging my customer cheaper than what the wholesaler wanted to charge me. And then that's what made me realize too, I'm either overpriced or there's a market out there.
Yeah.
And I realized, I did double check, I wasn't really overpriced, because then if you go to other competitors like the Vistaprints and things like that, people could get my price or maybe a little cheaper. So I was fine priced. But what it really made me realize is there's other market out there. There's many different promo, apparel, and print shops that don't do any of the printing in-house, or very little, especially large runs or anything like that. Maybe they just do digital machines. So when they need a larger press run to get it cheaper, they don't do that, or just it's a lot to handle for a digital machine.
Right.
So I then decided I was going to open up a wholesale division. What I'm going to do, which is Patriot Line. So I started that about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, something like that. Very slow moving in the beginning because I didn't have the full time to put into it necessarily and grow that. And I'm still not fully there yet of where I can put my time into growing that side of things. But I will say, if I did not launch that side of it and grow the connections that I've got and some of the really good customers I've got, I would not. During the last couple of years where I was having the struggles, I don't know if we would have gotten through those without those customers, because it's an extra revenue stream. And technically it's a whole different LLC, totally different bank account, all things. But obviously I own both, so I can pull money over to one if I need to cover things. If you want to leverage different print and promotional products for your company but don't know how to go about doing it, click the link below and let's schedule a free strategy session with me, and I'd love to help you guys out. Look forward to talking with you.
They go through the wholesale side. You're strictly to other print professionals with the wholesale side.
Yep.
So like your business in Nebraska didn't do any print.
Yep.
But if they wanted to offer that as a service,
Outsource.
they could outsource it to Patriot Line.
Yep.
The same thing that FIP was doing in the beginning with the signs and that kind of thing is
Yep.
they were outsourcing that, but that was one you could bring in-house.
Yep.
But it's very expensive and it's very
Yeah.
hard to bring in-house the printing.
It's
Right.
it's expensive equipment.
Yeah. So you know that's where the wholesale side makes sense to be able to offer that to other print shops, and then they can bring that in, and you know now they can offer something else. So
Yeah. Yep. And the biggest thing too that I've at these trade shows that I'm going to, I'm talking to people. It's scary for them to jump into the print side of things and learn that, or even signage, because they just never mess with it. And what I tell them is to let me be the expert, because now remember, on the wholesale side, I'm not talking to the end customer. Like, I'm talking to the middleman, the distributor. Yep. So I'm the wholesaler, there's a distributor, then there's the end customer. So they can communicate with me. I will tell them what they need or what to say, and they can sound like an expert to their customer and provide what they need and make more revenue.
Yep.
And I've told a lot of people, I was like, I have no problem helping you through that process. Like, that's what I'm here for. One, it helps me because obviously I'm getting revenue from you getting your revenue, and we're helping each other out. And if I can help you, and along the way, the more I educate them and explain these things to them, they're going to learn the process.
So they get to make money without doing the work. You get to make money without having to go and find a customer.
Yep, exactly.
And the customer's happy because they're getting exactly what they want.
And I will say, a lot of people that go to wholesalers, or that are the distributor, they are scared when they find out if a wholesaler has a retail side of what they do. But I'm gonna be honest, from my standpoint, I would be an idiot to try to screw, because the reason why they're scared is because they're sending me the customer's information. I'm printing it. Now I can see who their customer is. I could technically go straight to that customer and try to take their business and just say, hey, I'm printing for them already. You should just come to me.
Yeah.
This is dumb. People have done it, and it's dumb. And the reason why it's dumb is because I basically have a sales force out there working for me.
Exactly.
And while, yes, my margins are not exactly what I make on the retail side, in the end, because if on the retail side, if I had a salesperson out there working for me, I'm paying that salesperson to go create new sales, also a commission maybe, or something like that. So the margins, I'm like taking less on the order to have them come to me on the wholesale side rather than me paying a salesman commission and a salary. It's a wash.
Well, not only that,
for the most part.
If you take that one customer away from them, well, you're going to lose access to their 200 or 300 or 400 other customers that they have. So
Exactly.
Why would you ever want to do that?
In a perfect world, I would love to get to the point where I grow the wholesale side so big that I can sell off the retail side and I just do wholesale.
Just do the whole. Yeah, just do.
It's
the
so
printing,
much easier. Because because at least the distributors, they know, they understand the struggle of the end customer, and we can sit there and be like, yeah, I know this customer's difficult or whatever. Whereas I have to deal with a difficult customer on the retail side. They're the ones dealing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's how it works in the promotional items world anyway, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're the wholesalers, and I'm the one dealing with end customer.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that how the promotional item side actually works.
Yep.
Is that stuff's made in some giant warehouse anyway? They're all wholesalers.
Yep. No promotional company does their products in-house. They go to wholesalers.
So I mean, they might do small things here and there, but when you're talking
Very
about
small.
big bulk, they don't.
Nope.
Because
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how you could possibly house 500,000 different products.
No.
And have room to do the work.
Yeah. No, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely not.
Now the next one is digital and print crossovers. So how does that work, and how could a print shop add that to what they're doing?
So this kind of ties into the mailing services side of things, where you can do like variable data, meaning because of the digital side, you can do that. The press side of it, it's the same image over and over and over and over again. Whereas digital side, you could set up a file that basically customizes each name on each piece, and it rotates through, or a number or an address or something like that. Whatever it is you're trying to do the variable data.
Kind of like the old mail merge with Microsoft word or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, each item can be specifically something specific printed on this area.
Yeah.
Or the whole thing, whatever it is, can be different. And you can do that kind of stuff. So that's where that comes into play, and that again goes into like the mailing services that we added. That we now do a lot of like addressing and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
Because before we were just literally having to print out labels and stick them, and now we can go directly on the product.
We also mentioned QR codes, so that's another part of that piece that goes back to outsourcing, or not outsourcing, but having the ability to offer design as a standalone function.
Yep.
Part of that is being able to add QR codes,
Yep.
create QR codes. It's not a hard thing to do, but a lot of people don't take the time to figure it out, or they don't understand it. So
Yep.
if you can just outsource that, and you can even do cool ones now to where the QR code looks like your logo, or
Yep.
whatever. So you can provide that service.
Yep.
In the digital world, it doesn't have to be print. So that's that's another good feature there. Seasonal and niche products. Talk about that.
For us, and we're actually in the process. We have not fully done it yet. We're actually finalizing some designs and everything right now. But we're now going to be trying to target the consumer side of things. So we're B2B for the most part, business to business, and now, like I said, we added the wholesale. So we got the retail side directly to the customer, business to business. We do have some people that come in there for like wedding invitations or some. The rarity of
but it's very rare that an individual goes in and orders
usually a
something.
business.
Yeah, it's usually a business for business purposes,
or an event or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we started the wholesale. So now I'm going, instead of dealing with the end customer, I'm dealing with the distributor in between the customer and me and the wholesaler. And this way now we're going directly to a consumer, so anybody, or a very niched out anybody, So like if I'm like, we're creating like flags for Army, Navy, Marines, or nurses, first responders, firefighters, police,
right,
all those different stuff. So niching down that, and we're doing this on signs, and we're doing it on a nice metal material. So a lot of these people are like, this is the stuff that Etsy people do, or eBay or whatever. So we want to now try to take advantage of every revenue stream we can, but again, also staying true to what we do. So that's why we're going to like put an ad together, and because if we did one piece and we're customizing, creating a design every single time, every one piece, then that would take up so much of our time. But what we're doing is we're creating the designs ahead of time, promoting those. We already got those digital files already created now because we've created the design. So now all we have to do is just pop it on and print. Yeah. Super easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of I see a lot of especially YouTubers and stuff like that. They have their merch.
Yep.
And there'll be a world event that happens, and the really good ones, within a matter of hours, if not minutes, they will have a shirt designed and ready to go.
Yep.
Right. And it's almost scary how quickly people get those kind of things out there. So that goes along. You mentioned the trends, whatever's hot, whatever's like seasonal. The one that sticks in my mind for some reason is when Donald Trump got shot. And he had his fist up in the air and his ear was bleeding. Like, I think within a matter of maybe like an hour of me seeing the news footage from that, I was seeing shirts
popping up, merch like left and right.
I was seeing shirts pop up. Buy this shirt, support. I'm like, oh my God, that was quick.
Yeah. And any trend that's popping up, like anything happens and there's a viral video or something like that, it's just crazy how fast people are on top of that stuff.
Yeah. Fidget spinners. Oh my God, when the first fidget spinner hit, like everyone had them right away. So you want to get in on those trends when they're hot and when they're cooking.
Yep.
You might have 1,000, 10,000, a million other people out there doing it, but you have your customers.
Yep.
And so that's where I used to always think, well, why would anybody do something when there's all these other people already doing it? But it's like, oh, wait a minute, I have my own customers. You know, back with my flags, my wooden flags that I'm making, we talked about in an earlier episode, you know, I was like, there's so many people out there doing them, but I'm like, wait a minute, I have like 1,500 people or however many it is on my Facebook page. So that's potential customers right there. That might not have that on any other. So you also have to think in those terms too when you're talking about, you know, whatever the niche is. Right now, pumpkin spice is the big thing because it's the fall, which I don't understand pumpkin spice, but whatever.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, not mine either. And then the last one you have is partner with your clients.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So that's something also we are working on right now. There's a lot of things we're working on right now. And like I said, the things like we talked about, you want to perfect each thing. So each things I've mentioned, the mailing service, we've got that. All those things are down pat now. So now I'm looking at the next things and I'm starting to kind of add as more revenue streams. I don't ever want to stop adding revenue streams if I can, as much as possible. Maybe eventually we'll hit a limit that, okay, now there's nothing else we can really add to what we do.
Now I got to go outside of this to a whole new business.
Yeah, exactly. But so with this, what we're trying to do now is where basically we're going to partner with the companies, and we will basically, because a lot of these companies, they either don't have a specific person that just totally dedicates their time to ordering the flyers, the brochures, the promo item, the apparel, all the things. We will be that for them. So basically, I have like an onboarding with them, understand what they need, and then now we are their marketing person. Basically, they're like an extra extended version of their company, and do the stuff for them. They give us the budget that they have, and then we provide the different things. Again, there's a lot of questions we ask them in the beginning onboarding to understand what their needs are and what they want. And obviously, things will pop up, and they just, hey, we need some these. Can you put some stuff together? And we handle it. Instead of specifically, they do the search, know what they want, figure it out, all the things. We're now going to basically, they're going to give us their monthly budget, and then we're going to, kind of like the surprise boxes that some of these subscription models that are out there, the American box and whatever else, or even food stuff that subscriptions that are out there, and they just surprise you.
I get one of those every other week, I think, or every week with 3 or 4 meals in it for the week. You never know what you're getting. I go in and we select what we don't want. Like, I'm not going to eat any fish, and I'm not going to eat anything with mushrooms in it. So, you know, you check off these are the things I don't want, and then random stuff shows up, and we cook them every week.
So that's kind of the idea. And again, this was me seeing what other companies are doing, not even in our industry. That's why I'm saying you can, even if you're not a print shop and you're listening to this, take what I'm saying, think about how I'm utilizing it for my business. How can you now move that into your business? And so with this I saw those companies like that, the food subscription models and things like that. They were getting their monthly fees, and really, actually not subscriptions, because really what it is, you're not paying an extra monthly fee. You're just paying per meals. And that's what we're doing here. I'm not charging them an extra fee. I'm just, give me your print budget. I'll make it happen with your print budget. That's basically what these other places are doing. And so that's what we're creating and working on right now. One other thing I didn't have on our list that I just thought about that I'm going to be working on is I actually have my business partner, her fiance, who is about to be her husband, is going to be coming into the company with us, and he works at a sign shop and does all installs and does all the things. We don't do installs. So that's one of the things we've discussed until he gets here, and obviously some other things we're working on, get those honed in, but then that'll probably be the next thing, is adding installs, what we do, and maybe even test out vehicle wraps. It's probably one of the next things, because he knows how to install. You can
print those, right?
Yeah, we can print the material. So he knows how to do installs. So really learning the vehicle wrap probably can't be that much more different. I'll let him be the deciding factor on that. But he can always, we need a new wrap on our van, so he can test run on our van.
I'll let him do a test run on my truck. I'll get it wrapped.
So, I mean, there's, again, I'm like always thinking about different ways you can add the different revenue streams, because it drives me nuts when somebody comes in, say vehicle wraps, for instance. They come in, I'm like, we can't do that. Sorry, go to this company. Well, a vehicle wrap is thousands of dollars. Like I want to say it's between $3,000 and $5,000 or more,
depending on the vehicle and the material,
or if it's a whole trailer. I mean, that's even more. So like, I could have had that income coming into this business if we knew how to do it. But I don't want to do it if we don't know how to do it. So that's why we got to make sure we're going to do it right. Like everything we've done, the mailing services, all that, there's been test runs. We make sure before we tell anybody, or I make sure, hey, you're our guinea pig. Are you okay with us testing this out on you? So,
you know, when we talk about all these things, I want to tie it to a couple of other businesses that do things similar. You know, the subscription thing. I've seen some crazy subscriptions out there. One of the ones that you would not believe is a multi-million-dollar business, but it is picking up dog poop.
yes.
Multi-million-dollar business. One company, I think they started out with like 10 houses in their neighborhood, and I was watching a thing on it, and now they generate like $5 to $7 million a year in revenue cleaning up people's yards. And they have several services that they provide within that. You know, the initial cleanup, the reoccurring thing, that, you know, there's all kinds of different things they can do with it. So that's one of the subscriptions that just blows my mind. The seasonal thing, right? Landscapers. In Florida, it's a little different because you do landscaping, you know, probably 9 months out of the year because it just grass grows the whole time. But we do have a dormant period. So what do you do when it's not there? You know, but if you're a landscaper, you know, you got landscaping. Get good at that. Add pool cleaning to it. Get good at that. Add
Weed pullers.
What's that?
Weed pulling.
Weed pulling.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple of kids that are doing that. You know, they just go around and pull weeds out of people's yards. Add that to it. Add gutter cleaning, pressure washing, right? I see all of these people that are like, oh, you know, I have a pressure washing business, but everyone has a pressure washing business. But if you have a customer base, you have 100 customers that you mow their lawn on a weekly basis, how hard is it to have a subscription that says you pay us 52 weeks out of the year, we're going to cut your yard 9 months out of the year, and the other 3 months we're going to clean out your gutters, or we're going to come wash your windows, or we're going to, you know, 1 month we're going to wash your driveway, we're going to wash off your house. So there's all kinds of ways you can keep this money coming in. But if you're not good at your core thing, you're going to be spread so thin, you're not going to be successful. So
yeah, you mentioned lawn care in Nebraska. You had basically half the year
snow removal.
Yes,
yeah,
that's exactly what they did. Yep. So they would do lawn care during the summer, nicer spring, whatever, and then the other half when it's just snowy and all that kind of stuff, they did snow removal.
Look, I saw if I was motivated enough to do it, I saw there was a woman. I can't remember how much she makes. It was in the millions. She works 2 or 3 months out of the year. She decorates front porches with pumpkins. She decorates them with pumpkins at the beginning of the fall season. And after Halloween, she comes and picks up all the pumpkins and throws it away. And that's her whole business.
Wow.
Making a killing. She designs them. People go. She sends people out to buy the pumpkins. I have to look it up and show it to you. Y'all look that up. So there's so many different ways out there.
Yep.
That you can do things like that. We got quoted. We had some guys going through our neighborhood when we first moved in about decorating for Christmas, and it was like ridiculous amount of money to do that. So yeah, there's a ton of different things out there. You know, but. Yeah, get good at your business, your core business, and add to it for sure.
Yep, without a doubt. And always be thinking like I'm always thinking, how do I solve this problem? How do I solve that problem? Be the solution to your customers' needs, and if you can do it all. But also, again, be careful. Don't try to just add too much too quick. Make sure you perfect the things that you're doing first, then add the next thing, then add the next thing, then add the next thing. That's the best way to do it. And again, even if you're not a print shop, utilize these same tools with whatever your industry is, and I think you can go places, especially this day and age where you can literally like promote it on so many different things and put it out there.
Yep, absolutely.
For sure. But hopefully you got something from this podcast. And again, if you got any comments, we'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And until next time, let's grow together.
It's time to step up, yeah. It's grind time, no more letting up. No, running faster, further, no more running up. Yeah, giving my all, no more giving up. Listen to me, step. It's time to